Hi there everyone, welcome to this week's Christmas live stream guitar lesson. Today we're going to be having a go at rocking around the Christmas tree. We'll get stuck into that in just a minute. Just in case you're watching this at any point now or in the future or whatever, you can download the music that we're going to be working from my website, which is davidherries.co.uk/a GuitarQuest Christmas. So, yeah, let's get stuck into it. We are going to just check our tuning to begin with. So we'll start with the bottom E string. Okay, and then on to A. And D. To G, and B, and then our top E string. Okay, cool. Right, I'm just going to move my microphone a little bit closer, so give me a second. So hopefully that's a little bit louder. A couple of things. So we've got the chat function, so please do fire away if you have any questions using that. If you're watching the video back at a later date, you can post a question in the comments section and I will get back to you. Other than that, I would suggest if there's any children watching, then just have an adult in the room to help explain some of the ideas if you find them a bit tricky. But that's pretty much it. So, we're going to get stuck in then. So, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree by Brenda Lee. In terms of the sort of difficulty level, I would say there's a few new ideas in here. They're not particularly difficult, but they are things we haven't covered so far, and currently we're at the start of GuitarQuest 4, so most of the chord stuff should be okay-ish. I think if you followed that course, you should be okay with that. In terms of the single note playing bits or the intro anyway, I would say it's I think you should be okay with it. We'll talk about where we find the notes, as in from the stuff we've played so far, we haven't covered exactly where all these notes are going to be on the fretboard yet, but if you've covered the course, then your ability to play them once I tell you where to put your fingers should be okay, I think. So that's where it's at. If you're watching this and you're a complete beginner, this might be a bit tricky, but give it a go, see how you get on. It's always the best way to approach it. So, okay, so let's, well, actually one other thing before we get started would be how the song was played originally. So it is a bit of a kind of does have a kind of slightly rocky sort of feel to it, like particularly the guitar playing. So my guess is that a lot of this would have been played plectrum style or with a pick. So you're very welcome to do that today. I'll just grab one. So I mean these kind of things that you hold, so that's your plectrum or pick. If you're going to go with that, you'd hold it between the thumb and the index finger, and then strike down with the pointy bit, or a combination of down and up anyway. So yeah, that's how you play with the plectrum. The GuitarQuest course so far has been a fingerstyle guitar course, so we'll just talk a little bit about how you'd cover it with both options, and then you can take your pick as to which you prefer and what works best for you. So okay. So I'm just going to bring the music up onto the screen to begin with. So hopefully you can see that. And the first thing to note here is this 8VA. Now again, this is something new we haven't covered in the GuitarQuest series, but that means play everything an octave higher. So if you're looking at the notes, you might think, oh, G and E, yeah, I know those notes. But actually we've got to find them an octave higher. So we'll talk about that in just a second. I should say, if you're looking at the notation, I should have covered this at the very offset really. 4/4 timing, so 4 beats in the bar, got 1 sharp, so all our Fs are played as F sharp throughout. And this thing here, this little cymbal kind of thing, that's telling us we're going to play it with swing. So we're going to be talking about that in GuitarQuest 4. We haven't got onto it yet, but that is something we'll be getting stuck into, and we'll talk about that a bit as we go. So, so to play these notes, coming back to these, to play them an octave higher, we're going to go up to the first string 15th fret and the second string 17th fret. And then these little lines here, the little diagonal lines, are sort of like you slide away from those notes. So if I come back to this here now, on the intro, on the printout, we've got two versions or two ways of playing the intro, because if you've got a guitar where you haven't got the cutaway, basically, you might struggle to get to these higher fret notes. So we'll come on to that in a minute, but if you have got them, you might as well give it a go. So we go first string 15th fret, and you probably go first finger, and then we're going to go third finger to the second string 17th, and then we play the two together. And if you're playing it finger style, you could either do thumb and index finger, or you could do index and middle. Doesn't really matter. You probably, well, take your pick actually. I was going to give a suggestion, but actually I think just go with whatever feels best for you. So those are the two notes, and then the slide, you just kind of slide this way, and you hear that little sort of fall away after you've played them. So when you play it, you slide, you've got to maintain the pressure in the fingers, and as you slide down the fretboard, you just relax that pressure off so the sound disappears. So what we don't want to hear is something like that where you stop and maybe you hear those notes at the end, if you really maintain the pressure, because they probably won't be right or in the right key and that kind of thing, and so it just won't quite sound right. So we want to play them, slide with the fingers, maintaining the pressure, and then gradually release, and the sound will just disappear. It doesn't really work to do it slowly. You do have to do this fast. If you go slow, maybe if you're on an electric guitar, it might demonstrate better, but on an acoustic like this, or this is technically a flamenco guitar, it just, the sound will die if you're not going to hear anything very much. So yeah, it's got to be quite quick. So that in itself is a challenge for where we've got to in the GuitarQuest series so far. Now in terms of the timing, we come in on the and after 2, and then we play again on 3. So we go 1, 2, and 3, 4. And then that slide is just kind of sliding away around beat 4. So it's 1, 2, and 3, 4. And then the second bar is exactly the same. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, so let's try those first two bars together and see how we get on. So after, well, go 3, 4, 1, 2, and then we come in. Okay, so good luck. Here we go. So 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2, 4. Okay, cool. Hopefully that went all right. Anyway, just in the comments saying you don't have a cutaway on the guitar. So if you haven't, you can still try and bring your hand round and play the notes, but your thumb might have to come forward, which is usually not something you'd encourage, but you might get access to those. If not, let's combine the lower octave part. So again, if I just bring the music up onto the screen, and then I'll jump between them, and you guys can just sort of join in with whichever bit works for your guitar. So this is what I've just been demonstrating, all those two bars. We'll go on to those in a minute. But you could also play this, which is basically the same as it says, the intro, but an octave lower. So we'll just discuss how to play these two bars here now. So what you'd want to do for this is put your middle finger on the second string 8th fret and your third finger on the third string at the 9th fret. And the reason we want to use those two fingers is because later on, if you see on the line underneath, we're going to have to end up putting our first finger across two strings at the 7th fret. So we want to keep this first finger kind of spare and at the ready for those notes. So you would, in terms of playing these notes, exactly the same. So you've got, I'll just repeat it, second string 8th, third string 9th, second string played with the middle finger, and third string played with the third finger. Okay, so let's try that. Again, we can slide down and away, and you just got to come back to them. So let's give it a go. So I'll count us in again, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then we go. Okay, here we go. So 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, so the original obviously is up here. The kind of should we say an acoustic arrangement to make it more accessible is down here. So let's jump back to the original one. As we go on to the second line, we stay on these first few notes. And in terms of the timing, it's 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay, so that's the third bar there. And if you're playing the lower octave one, it's the same. So we stay on those same 2 notes. I'm getting my my first finger out of the way so you can hopefully see my left hand a bit clearer. But if you're playing this one, you'd probably want to keep your first finger certainly hovering. You could even push it down at those frets because it's not going to impact the sound here. Okay, so that's that bit. So the last bar, again, if we're up here, playing it higher, so we were here, and then we're going to come down a fret to 14 and 15. I would say ideally switch to fingers 1 and 2. Then we slide down 2 more frets. Then we go down a couple of frets again, but we need to add our third finger back to the second string at the 12th fret. And then we go down 2 frets again and play it once. So just recap. So at the start of the third bar, we're at the 15th and the 17th fret. And we go to this other sort of finger combination, almost like a little mini chord shape. So we do 2 at the 14th and the 15th. Go down 2 frets. Then we're going to go back to the original shape but move down to frets 10 and 12. Do 2 there and then go down 2 frets again and play it once, and then we can slide away. So if I just demonstrate that bars 3 and 4 there, so we're going to go 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and slide away. So that's the higher way of playing it. If you're going to play the octave lower version, so we're starting here at frets 8 and 9, then this is where our barring is going to come in. So barring is where we allow the first finger to go across a couple or 2 or 3 or well more than 1 string basically. So we're going to bar across strings 2 and 3. You'll probably also push down string 1, that's not a problem because we're not going to be playing it anyway. But yeah, so you get the 2 notes at the 7th fret, then we slide down to the 5th, and then we're going to go down to the 3rd, but we've got to add our middle finger back in to the 4th fret on the 3rd string, and then we go down 1 more, and just play it once. And in theory, there's a little slide away, but when you're at frets 1 and 2, there's not really a lot you can do there, so you could do that if you want or not. I left it in because that's kind of the feel of the original, yeah, you just take your pick, you know. So if you're playing the lower one and you're here, you could just finish there and just let the notes hang, and that'll be absolutely fine. So, okay. So appreciate this might be quite tricky, but let's have a go. We're going to play it twice. So I'm going to play the higher octave the first time, then we'll stop, and then we'll try it again. I'll play the lower octave version, and we'll just see how we get on. So, good luck. Yeah, I've just seen a comment as well actually, so I'm struggling with the higher notes. Yeah, so in the GuitarQuest series of books and lessons and things, we haven't got anywhere near this area of the fretboard yet. So obviously your frets are getting much narrower, so you've got to compensate for that, and as you go down the fretboard they get wider again, so you have to allow the fingers to adjust a little bit as well as you move. So yeah, it is tricky. I'm not going to beat about the bush on that. It does take a bit of getting used to. If you play a lot of electric guitar, then this kind of thing becomes your bread and butter because you just do it a lot. You know, if you get into lead guitar playing anyway. When you're playing perhaps more acoustic and classical kind of stuff, you're typically more around this kind of area, and you come up the fretboard, but you typically aren't going to end up here that often. So it's an adjustment, and it's just another thing to work on. So if you're finding it difficult, please do try and persevere, because hopefully you'll enjoy it, and it will sound good. But yeah, let's try it. So just give it your best shot. So remember, we come in on the and after 2 on bars 1 and 2 and 3 in fact, and then bar 4 we just straight in with the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so let's give it a go. Here we go. So after 2. Okay, so 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Slide. Okay, so I wouldn't necessarily expect you to be able to play that straight away. That's probably going to be something you'd have to work at. But obviously give yourself a pat on the back if you did manage it. So let's try the lower octave one now. Time wise, it's exactly the same. The notes are exactly the same. They're just 1 octave apart. So let's give it a go. Remember, we're starting on fingers 2 and 3 this time, keeping that first finger ready for the bar when we get to it in the 4th bar of this bit. Okay, so here we go. So 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 1. Okay, cool. So that is the intro to Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. Just in a comment saying, I'm not sure it sounds right when I play it, doesn't sound quite the same. Yeah, it's a tricky one to comment on, because obviously I can't hear anybody at the moment. But feel free to record it and post it, and I'll let you know what's going on. If you are finding it difficult to play 2 notes at the same time, you could take just the higher note to begin with. So for example, looking at the lower octave one, you could be at the 8th fret. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2. And play it like that. And then you could try adding the 2nd note in, or play the note on the 3rd string in that way, just on its own. So 1, 2, and that kind of thing, and then combine them. Or try it with a plectrum. So if you're going to play with a plectrum, I'd probably, because of the style of this, probably go all down strums. And again, we haven't talked about this in the GuitarQuest series really, but you just take the plectrum, take the pointed bit between the thumb and the index finger, and you go down. So 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. But if you're striking the strings with the plectrum, you've got to be careful, because you only want to hit 2 strings. So if you're new to plectrum playing, that can be a bit of a challenge, because you might want to hit more than just the 2. So that's something just to watch out for. But yeah, as with anything with guitar playing, if you persevere with it, you will get it. So yeah, good luck with it. But let's move on to the chords and have a look at this. There's 3 pages of chords, but actually there's a lot of repetition within it. So hopefully it won't be too demanding. So just to recap then, we're going to start off with the G chords. So I've got 6th string 3rd fret, 5th string 2nd, and then you can either do the 2nd string 3rd and the 1st string 3rd, or not bother with the 2nd string 3rd and just have an open string there. Your call. Both are completely interchangeable. I think in the context of this, in this song, it probably doesn't really matter, to be honest. So that's our G, E minor, 5th string 2nd and 4th string 2nd. Then the C, we go 5th string 3rd, 4th string 2nd, open 3rd, 2nd string 1st, and an open E. And then D7, this is a newer chord, we haven't talked about this one before, I don't think. when we change from the C, you can keep that first finger down and then put your middle finger on the A, 3rd string, 2nd fret, and your 3rd finger on the F sharp, 1st string, 2nd fret. And we strum from the 4th string. So it's a bit like the D chord, but a mirror image sort of down the 2nd fret. So that's our D7, and we strum from the 4th string. And our strumming pattern is the same pretty much throughout. And it's in GuitarQuest 3, I think we talked about this, so like the world's most common strumming pattern. Sort of the old faithful, the old reliable that most people will go back to time and again. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go down, down, up, down. And if you want, you can play a bass note on beat 1, or, sorry, that's the bass note, or you can just strum. So you go either bass note, down, up, down, or just down, down, up, down. Okay, so we're going to go on the intro G, E minor, C, D7 with the strumming pattern. So let's give it a go and see how we get on. So after 4, starting on the G, so 1, 2, 3, 4. To C, to D7. Okay, and that obviously I was playing the bass notes, but you could just strum the thing, the chords on beat 1 rather than hitting the bass note as discussed. Okay, so then as we go into the verse, which is in here, we've got bar 4 up to bar 19, it's just G and D7. So we start on the G, D7, and we just stay on that D7. There's 5 bars a bit before we go back to the G, and then the whole thing just kind of repeats. So with regards to that, if you're playing along with the song, then you can use the vocals to kind of cue you in as to where you need to change chords and that. Otherwise, you just got to count carefully. So that's what we're going to attempt to do now. So we're going to try the verse. Okay, so starting on that G after 4. So we've got 2 bars of G and then to the D7 for 5. Okay, here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So down, down, up, down. Another bar of G. D7, down, down, up, down. We start on D7, 2 more bars, last bar of D7, and then back to G. Stay on the G, same kind of thing again. 1 more bar of it, to D7. The verse, and then we come into the bridge section, which maybe could be described as a chorus. So this, we're going to have to talk about the B minor, we'll come back to that, but otherwise it should be reasonably straightforward. So we've got the C chord, we've discussed, B minor we'll come on to in a minute, E minor we know, A, that's the one with all 3 fingers in the column at the 2nd fret, so 1st finger 4th string 2nd, middle finger 3rd string 2nd, and 3rd finger 2nd string 2nd, and when we get to that, we're just going to do a single strum, cut the sound off. So we do that with the right hand, just lightly touch the strings. 2, 3, 4, and then the D7, we're going to do again the bass note. Then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4, or you could do it as strumming and go down, 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 up, down. Okay, so that's the bridge. We'll play through it in just a second. But let's have a think about this B minor. So if you look at the last page of the PDF that hopefully you've downloaded, we've got 3 options for playing B minor. The first one is the least kind of B minor sounding of the 3, but it's the easiest. So you could do 1st string 2nd fret, 2nd string 3rd fret, 1st string 4th fret. Just strum those 3 strings. If you wanted to include a bass note on that one, it would be on the 3rd string. That kind of thing. The second option is to move this third finger over to the fourth string, fourth fret, and then add the pinky to the third string, fourth fret. So you get this from here, you move that one over, drop the pinky in underneath. This is a little bit more closer to the fuller B minor sound, which we'll get onto in a second. So yeah, again, you just strum here. Or if you want to include the bass note, this time you can go from the fourth string. So that's option 2 on the final page of the PDF. And then option 3, this is the best way to play B minor, but it is a bit more difficult. So you take the shape, and what we're going to do is move the first finger to cover strings 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is what you call a bar chord, and you should get that kind of sound. And then if you're going to do the bass note, you'd hit the 5th string and then strum. Again, with where we're at in GuitarQuest series, we haven't covered bar chords yet. So this is, you know, if you want to give it a go, great. If not, that one hopefully you should be okay with. The second option, again, hopefully all right, and I would say maybe aim for this one. It's got a little bit more kind of character to it than the first one, but see how you go. You know, you want to be able to play it at the end of the day, so you know, whatever works for you. Or if you're feeling confident, you get that finger across to the fifth, so all the way over to the 5th string. You can include the 6th string. That is fine to do, but you don't have to. And if you don't cover the 6th string with your first finger, you just have to make sure when you strum that you only go from the 5th string. Otherwise you get this extra note which doesn't quite sound right. So yeah, so that's what we're going to have a go at. So let's go back to the bridge. This is on the second page of chords. We're going to start with our C chords. Same strumming pattern. Just remember when we get to the A and the D7 on the 3rd line there that we're going to change it up a little bit. But then we just go back to the same kind of verse idea as before. So let's start with the C. Okay, so after 4, here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So down, down, up, up, down, 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 up. To the B minor. Same strumming pattern. E minor. One more bar. We'll do a single strum on the A. 2, 3, 4, and then the D7. Down, down, up, down, and back to G. Same as the verse. G again. D7. Stay on that for another 3 bars. 2 more. Last one. And then on to G. Good stuff. Okay, so from there we go back to the first page of the chords and to the G chords. So we can see bar 4, verse and solo. So this is where the sax solo comes in the piece. And we work our way through all the way to the end of the second page. In fact, if I just bring the music up onto the screen. Obviously let's skip forward a little bit. Yeah, here we go. So we've covered the intro. We then played the verse, which is this little bit here up to here. Then we just played the bridge just now. And then we came back onto the G and the D7 chords, so we got up to this point here. So we then come back a couple of pages to here, play these 3 lines again, do all of the second page here, and then when we get to the 3rd page we're going to skip this bit and come over onto this section here, which is what we're just going to talk about. So this is the outro of the song. So what we're going to do is start on a D7 as before. So down, down, up, down, 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 up, down. And then the next bar, we've just got to watch out for this. So we've got those 4, well, the next 2 bars, we've got 4 single notes played on beats 2 and 4 each time. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's all on the 4th string. So it's the open D, D sharp at the first fret, E at the second, F sharp at the fourth, and then just straight back onto the chords. E minor, C. Now there's an A minor 7, which actually I forgot to include on the chord sheet. But all we do for that is just lift the third finger off, and that's an A minor 7. So you go from the C, lift the third finger off, play an open fifth, and then the last bar we're going to go to G. How I've written it is bass note, then we can tap the string and then strum. So it's 1, 2, and 3, 4. Just demonstrate that again. So 1, 2, and 3, 4. You could strum the first bit, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and just kind of do something on beat 2 that gives us a slight percussive hit, and just kind of emphasises really that the song is finishing, really. So, okay, so let's play that outro together. So after 4, this is bar 36, coming in on that D7. So here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 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 rest. Back to the G. E minor, C, A minor 7. And that's how we finish. So I should just mention that penultimate bar with the C and the A minor 7, we changed the strumming a little bit to go down, down, up, and then repeat, but with the A minor 7 chords, down, down, up, all the bass notes. So, and then the G, something like that to finish off with. Okay, right. So we shall go at playing this the whole way through, just with the chord progression. So good luck, everybody. We'll take it, reasonable kind of speed, sort of what we've just been doing. So just try and play along as best you can. If there's any chords you find particularly difficult, maybe just skip them for now and think, okay, that's just an area I'm going to work on. So, yeah, let's give it a go. I'll talk us through as we go. So starting on the G after 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, down, up, down. E minor, C, D7 to the verse and onto the G. D7, stay on the D7. your best here. E minor. Single strum on the A. 2, 3, 4 different strumming on the D. Back to the G. D7. Okay, excellent stuff. So, very well done if you managed to play through that. That would have been pretty awesome. So, definitely give yourself a pat on the back for that one if you managed it. If not, hopefully you enjoyed it and you could play along with it in places at least. So, now there is one big thing we need to talk about with this, just to finish off with. And I think I mentioned at the start on the first page, this isn't necessarily a very guitar friendly key, so I've moved it into a more guitar friendly key. So if you want to play along with the original, what you need to do, just grab one, is grab a capo. So I've got this type of capo. You pop it at the first fret, and then imagine, again in GuitarQuest lessons we haven't really talked about capos, that is something we'll do at some point. But what it means is kind of like the nut has moved up one fret. So fret 1 is now really fret 2, or I should say the other way around. Fret 2 on the guitar is really now fret 1 because it's relative to the capo. So fret 3, like if you're making the G chord, is 3 frets up from the capo. So in kind of real money, you're at the 4th and the 3rd frets, although you're still going to think of it as the 3rd and the 2nd frets. So yeah, just demonstrate quickly. You'd play your G as normal, E minor, same, so just everything's 1 fret higher. And it just means actually we're playing slightly different chords, but we're still thinking of it in a more simplistic kind of manner, if that makes sense. So, if you want to play along with the original, that's the thing to do. The tricky bit with this is that, you know, when we did the intro, if you're at frets 15 and 17, you've now got to go 16 and 18 because it's relative to the capo. So you've got to come up even higher. And same down here, you'd be 1 fret higher. Oh, sorry. So that kind of thing. So, yeah, that's an additional challenge. But typically, like when you're learning something like this, you don't have to play it with the capo. You can do if you want. The only real reason you'll need to play it with the capo is if you want to play along with the original, or if you've got somebody who's going to sing along with you and they're like, I want to play it in the original key, then you might want the capo as well. So, yeah, something to think about, something we will talk about at some point in the GuitarQuest lessons. But that pretty much wraps it up. So, I think let's finish up there. Hopefully that was insightful and gives you plenty to be practicing, and hopefully you manage it. So if you do manage to get to grips with the chords and that kind of thing, then please do feel free to record yourself playing it, share it, and it'd be really interesting to hear how you're getting on. So yeah, we'll leave it there. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up, maybe share it around with anybody you think would be interested in learning this kind of style. In terms of future lessons, we are going to take a break now for Christmas. So I'll just check the dates quickly. So the next one is likely to be Thursday the 15th of January, so about a month off. So please do join me for that one if you're interested in taking part. So as I mentioned earlier, we're up onto GuitarQuest 4 now. So you know, it's more moving on a little bit from the beginner stuff to a little bit more intermediate kind of thing. So, but all the old lessons are online, so you're very welcome to check those out. I think that pretty much wraps it up. So we'll leave it there. Very best luck with the practice. Have a fantastic few weeks. Have a very Merry Christmas. And I'll look forward to seeing some of you in January. So all the best and Happy New Year as well. All right, take care then, everybody. Bye-bye.